these prize cards. Toward Reklev, two of his Dusclops.
Both of them.
Both Dusclops, that is. Fortunately, he does play 4 rare candy, so he can still get towards Dusknoir. So has safeguarded himself in that regard.
But we do have prizes down. We have opening hands drawn. We are waiting for a fist bump to start off our final. There's the fist bump, and we are off with the Frankfurt Regional Championships TCG Masters Final.
Frankfurt makes some noise for these two titans of the game. We are in for an absolute treat. Rune kicking things off with a nest ball for what looks to be an early deck search. But let's talk through this archetype that little bit. We've seen it time and time again, but it does bear repeating here that the archetype really revolves around this stage 2 EX Pokemon. The Psyche Embrace ability allows us to recover energy from our discard pile, putting them onto our Psychic Pokemon and putting 2 damage counters on them. That 2 damage may sound like a downside, but not with the Pokemon that's in the active position. The Monkey Dory with its Adrenabrain can fling that damage back to the opponent, making Gardevoir one of the most flexible attacking decks in the format and one of the best defensive decks in the format, because you can set up multiple Pokemon for knockouts, knowing that you're not going to be disrupted by Iono so much, by keeping so many prize cards held back, and also not triggering the flip the script from Pheasantipity EX, one of the crucial engine Pokemon in the game.
And it's not just the Monkey Dory. The Screamtail does do damage anywhere on the board, depending on the damage on it. So not only can you get the energy on using Gardevoir, but you get the damage counters on, which you need in order to activate that high-level damage, taking out some of those bench Pokemon. The attackers in Gardevoir have changed throughout the years. Right now, it's largely Gardevoir, Screamtail, and Lily's Clefairy. Yeah. But Monkey Dory, it's not an attacker. It is so beyond crucial in the deck, both for healing your own Pokemon and for hurting your opponents. But the fact that Gardevoir provides its own damage to fuel the Monkey Dory is what really makes it just the best user of Monkey Dory in the game.
Very strong synergy between these two. Rune pretty happy with his action. The nest ball grabbing a backup Ralts and also had one in the hand. He's also going to take a few notes of what cards were in his prizes. Just to update you guys, a couple of those Earthen Vessel in there, 1 Super Rod and 1 Bravery Charm. Those are things to keep track of, and Rune will be doing so.
He's gone second here, and he has TM Evolution ready to go turn 1 with a Professor's Research popped down. Discard your hand, draw 7. TM Evolution, phenomenal turn 1 going second play, because you just put an energy on your active and you can just evolve
Tord actually
Pokemon.
Passed. Tord drew past here.
Oh, that's not ideal. I was like, how's he evolving the Curlier? Oh, because that was Tord's entire turn. Do we have a potential? Is there anything Rune can really fire off? Maybe there is here, because we've got TM Evolution being used. It's going to wait a turn. But next turn, what does Tord get? So Buddy Poffin, in this situation, maybe the best possible draw?
He's in the game.
He's in the game.
We also have a recon directive here. So the game isn't over just yet. There's a mountain to climb, Ross. There's already a Gardevoir EX and a Curlier in play. A lot of the win percentage from Dragapult comes from early action with Budu, possibly even using Jamming Tower to deny that TM evolution that we've already seen happen.
Yep.
So that you deny these early evolutions, and suddenly you can use your Dusclops, you can use your Phantom Dive and take these Pokemon out before they get to evolve.
Both of these are stage 2 Pokemon. Both of them require quite a bit of setup before you get going. When your opponent is all but completely set up and you are just starting off with your first Buddy Poffin, that is not an ideal situation. Now, the good news is we have another Buddy Poffin, apparently, which must have been gotten off the recon directive. Yep. And I noticed at least 2 more Dracloak in hand. He had 3 in hand when I spied his hand a minute ago. So next turn, he's going to be rolling quite nicely. The question is, how late is too late to start making this comeback? Because I feel confident Rune's going to start taking prizes next turn.
The good news is both decks work quite well. They actually prefer to be a little bit behind in prize cards. A lot of the time, it opens up Counter Catcher for them, a crucial item both players employ. And it also allows Iono to be disruptive. And Gardevoir doesn't have much in the way of a draw engine. It has Flip the Script, it has Mew EX, but these can be disrupted. So even though Tord is at the moment sighing a relief because he's actually just still able to play the game, he knows he's going to submit some prize cards. He just has to pass things over. but ultimately Dragapult can make comebacks.
This is a lot better than it was.
This.
Double Gardevoir EX immediately from Rune. We had a very fast first couple of turns, but between TM Evolution and Natural Evolution, we got there. It's fine. But Screamtail hits the board with another Professor's Research, and this is what we were saying about Screamtail being able to go after the bench Pokemon.
Oh my goodness, Ross. What a hand. Professor's Research gets us Earthen Vessel, Energy, Ultra Ball. We are going to be throwing these Psychic Energy into the discard pile, and that means we're going to be launching some attacks.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to find a time to point out that the only thing he's missing, energy in the discard, and then he draws a hand, and it's like, oh.
Well, would you look at that?
If you want to get energy in the discard, have I got the hand for you? So this is going to be literally perfect now. The Monkey Dory's already got energy ready to retreat. You can attack with Screamtail to hit the bench if you wish. You could even just start attacking with Gardevoir into the active if you wanted. Honestly, the only thing we really need now is some Darkness energy for Monkey Dory and maybe some more Monkey Dory, because other than that, you are rolling. And worth pointing out, Lily's Clefairy, we talk about it as a card to just attack into Dragapult, but while it's in play, all of your opponent's Dragon Pokemon is now Psychic. It doesn't have to do the attacking. It will help out all of your Psychic Pokemon attacking into Dragon. So having that sitting on the bench, when you start firing off those attacks into the big Dragon Pokemon will be crucial.
I do love the pause here from Rune. It's so easy to get carried away with yourself in this final. You know that your opponent hasn't been drawing that well. You know that you've got very well set up early on in this game. But don't get too carried away. I do love the retreat here into Gardevoir EX. Rather than getting too creative with Screamtail or anything else like that, that can fall prey to early Curse Blasting. So instead, we can commit a Darkness Energy to our first Monkey Dory. And always a great cheat to bear in mind is that whenever you're thinking about Gardevoir, the more Darkness Energy and Monkey Dory you see in play typically means they've got a better setup. It's going to be a knockout on the active Dracloak, as well as using that first Adrenabrain, healing up that Gardevoir, and also dishing 3 damage counters towards benched Dreepy.
Yeah, I really like this. I don't see the point of Screamtail when the biggest threat is the active Dracloak. Might as well save Screamtail for later when there's something really worth KOing on the bench. Rune goes up by 1 prize to 0. We're back over to Tord. We know he's got Dracloak in hand, but your opponent's had such a better start than you. We do see a rare candy. Oh, and he's just given away a Dragapult to take a Psychic Energy. You would need Dragapult and Neo Upper. So no, saying Dragapult's not happening this turn. Let's go to slightly slower route.
It's another turn off from Tord. He's going to be submitting even more prize cards. And one of the best weapons Dragapult typically has is Budew. But it's that vulnerable 30 hit point Pokemon. And we know that Gardevoir is very capable at cashing in on that easy prize card via Adrenabrain. That's already on the board. There's 3 counters already on the Gardevoir. We're very easily able to deal with that Budew. So Tord probably won't even be able to use this card to slow down Rune any which way when there's already a stage 2 and already plenty of energy to play with.
Absolutely. If you're putting down a Budew now and using Itchy Pollen, you'd be giving up a prize without Rune having to actually use his attack. So there would be a prize given up and an attack coming in after. We do see a Pheasantipity coming down. That will allow Tord to flip the script and draw 3 cards. Worth having a reminder here that it doesn't matter how a Pokemon is KO'd. If an Adrenabrain takes a KO, you will still be allowed to flip the script. As long as the Pokemon was KO'd on your opponent's turn, hey, 3 extra cards being drawn.
And I think Tord's already stashing energy in the hand, basically trying to force Rune to attack with Screamtail, I imagine. Trying to force him down this avenue of heavily damaging a single prize Pokemon that Tord could then bounce back with a Phantom Dive and KO. You have to feel like that's the sort of thing coming into his thinking, because Tord doesn't want to lose another Dracloak. There's no way he wants that to happen, but he kind of has to make Rune make that choice for him.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. You need to start doing something to kind of push your opponent to do what you want to do. Give yourself that little bit of time. And that is what Dragapult needs. You need a bit of time, get set up. How many games have we seen this weekend, Joe, where 2 Phantom Dives won the game?
Almost all the games.
Exactly.
All of the games.
All of the games. So you just need to buy yourself enough time to get those 2 Phantom Dives off. And we've seen some redonkulous comebacks, including by Tord, let's not forget, where it looked like they were down and out and they were still able to get that comeback. They've got Counter Catcher. Double Buddy Poffin is not what you want to draw at this point in the game off a Pheasantipity, though.
Far from ideal. Tord at least can get another Dreepy down. I think that's the last thing he can use to fill up his board.
Yep.
Because, oh, it might even be the Budew, though. Was there even access to any additional Dreepy here? Or are we still going to have to use an item locking effect? We are. The Budgew's coming into play. That means we could retreat Duskull and prod with Itchy Pollen. Again, we're just submitting so many prize cards here in the process of trying to slow down Rune that little bit. But Rune already has a great turn mapped out. He can already just deal with his Budgew freely and attack again. Wow.
It's going to be a good turn for Rune. Hopefully, Tord, and that we've seen enough here. Now, I do like this, bringing up the Gardevoir with no energy on, basically saying, I don't think you're going to be able to attack. So, yes, I'm giving up the Badoo to an Adrenabrain. I know that. Obviously, that's going to happen. But I don't think you're going to attack. So, you've gone through your entire turn just KOing a 30 HP Pokemon. If that's all you do, is kind of all right. Now, there's no energy in the discard, I believe. There's not at least there's one.
And there's one Psych Energy in the hand.
And you need 3 in the discard.
Yeah, we're going to be putting another 3 counters onto this Gardevoir with Psychic Embrace. That opens up the Adrenabrain on either Gardevoir EX now. I feel like you just have to walk through this Badoo.
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, you can now attach and retreat. So that might be the option here, at least to get energy in your discard, which is going to open up more options with your Gardevoir ability. And at least then you can get the Adrenabrain onto the Badoo and then get your attack off.
The other play you can make here is spend your energy attachment for the turn on your benched Monkey Dory and then simply remove both 3 damage counters and take out a Dracloak that way and just keep Badoo around for later. I think just the more Monkey Dory, the better, but we are just going to take out the Badoo here.
Could we have combined that with Screamtail to take out the other Dracloak?
I don't think we had enough energy because you'd have to commit the Darkness energy to the Monkey Dory there. So we are just going to retreat. We're going up maximum prize cards here. But then we're just limited to the 1 Monkey Dory. Let's not mince our words here. Rune is still in a fantastic position.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Tord walks away with just not losing a Dracloak. That's a pretty good outcome overall.
Yeah, you've given up 2 prizes, but both your Dracloak are sitting there. They're ready to go. You do still have a Duskull, which is an option here. Of course, using a Dusknoir here means a 2-prize KO loses a game. It's an awkward prize map, but it is still an option. But you've saved your main attackers, and this is where you need to go. You've got to get Neo Upper Energy this turn, and you've got to get your Dragapult this turn. You have to start attacking. But it's then down to Lily's Clefairy EX. If a Lily's Clefairy EX comes down, that is going to make life so much more difficult, and that is going to put Rune in such a good position.
That Fairy Zone ability is exactly why Gardevoir is so strong into this matchup, giving your opponent's Dragon-type Pokemon now Psychic Weakness, turns a tanky 320 hit point Stage 2 into a much more vulnerable prospect thanks to 1 basic inclusion into the deck. Tord continuing to fight through this game number 1. Despite looking like he's pretty behind right now, he does begin things here with a Flip the Script after a Buddy Buddy Pop-In for that final Dreepy and Duskull. He's eyeing up some counter-catcher plays. We're going to have to see some Recon Directive here to piece together the rest of the turn. Finally, Ino makes it to the hand.
Okay, so Ino puts Rune down to a 3-card hand. That's going to be a win. You can combine that with a counter-catcher just to try and force some extra resources being expended to get an attack off. There is a Gardevoir with no energy on the bench. Tord went for it last turn. You could do that. Combine it with the Ino down to 3 and just hope Rune is running out of energy. One of the things you want to do against Gardevoir is try and get them with all the energy stuck on the board so that they can't accelerate it from the discard. It's exactly what he's doing. We've seen the counter catcher. We see the Ino coming down here. This is the play Tord's going for. Is it going to be enough to get him back into the game?
It is a really important use of the Ino here. We know that Rune proactively searched out that Lily's Clefairy a few turns ago.
Yep.
So Tord disrupting that is the first piece of the puzzle here. He's also being able to find 6 fresh cards. Is there any energy here? No.
There's definitely no Neo Upper.
Still 1 final Recon Directive. Still looking awkward for Tord.
No energy there either. A single energy wouldn't do it, but we don't even have a single energy. I did not see exactly what they are, but it's definitely not an energy. There's a rare candy as the left-hand card there.
Yeah,
oh, and Tord's just scooping up the game, and Rune is going to take game 1 in the Frankfurt Regional Championships final. 1 game away from that first Regional Championship victory. Tord looked at the board and he said, you know what? I'm not going to win this. Let's head on over to game 2.
And ultimately, what I love most is Rune's pretty chill about this. He's not overreacting. He's not getting too excited. He's thinking, Yeah, that was pretty easy. Just got to do that one more time.
Well, let's have a look at the replay from game one. And we saw this really turbo start from Rune while Tord was really struggling to get anything going. And then we get the KO on this Dragapult, nice and early, taking out the biggest threat really on Tord's side of the board. Monkey Dory gets established nice and early. That's always sitting there, providing a bit of a threat. The free damage counters go on to Dreepy, although it wasn't really that important in the end. But it meant that Rune was basically set up and ready to go. We saw the Adrenabrain getting a KO on a Badoo, and then Gardevoir was able to retreat into the free energy Gardevoir, taking a KO on the Duskull, really putting Tord on the back foot, basically forcing him to have a big turn where he can start attacking and slowing the game down. And we had an Ino, we had a counter catcher, but we didn't have any energy, and that's why we're off to game two.
Yeah, I also really like that Rune essentially just races as many prize cards as possible, because you can essentially deactivate those Curse Blast Pokemon within Tord's list. If you put your opponent onto odd prize cards, typically we're always thinking that even is the right number.
Yep.
But putting Tord only, well, forcing that Curse Blast to make Rune only have 2 prize cards remaining then becomes a huge issue.
Yes.
Then you can't really afford to Curse Blast without this major downside of, oh, I could lose next turn. So you're really trying to force that issue as quickly as possible to deactivate the threat of those Dusknoir, which then means you're just having to face a Dragapult, and we know that you can clear through those pretty handily.
Absolutely, and let's not forget, that last game did not go Tord's way from the very beginning. He had a very poor start. He had a Dreepy pass. It was not ideal. He really didn't get set up until Rune, he didn't even start getting set up until Rune had basically finished. Hopefully we can have a faster start here. We see
both Gardevoir.
Both Gardevoir. Now that's going to help Tord quite a bit, Joe. Oh, here we go for the fist bump. We're off in game two, and I hope Rune has got an option which includes not using Gardevoir in this Gardevoir deck, because he's going to need to use it right about now. Oh, he's going to get the bad news, Joe.
And, well, I think the players have already seen that there's some commotion going on in the crowd right now about those prize cards. So, going to do that routine check, and Rune's going to be the one finding out that his prize cards were the worst of the 2 players. Does have a pretty workable hand, though. Does have that earthen vessel. Even Tord laughing now. Both players are taking it on the chin. Finding out that both Gardevoir EX are in the prizes. Now, fortunately, Lily's Clefairy, a very efficient attacking option. You even have Monkey Dory. You even have Slap from Screamtail. You have ways to take early knockouts with this deck as Gardevoir. It's untraditional. You don't love to do it, but you do have a couple of efficient attackers that can take those knockouts. So, and actually, because Rune led with the Screamtail as well, it's going to stop Tord from even opting for the Budgie, perhaps? Because the last thing Tord wants to do is give an easy prize to Rune, then he hits the Gardevoir EX, and suddenly he's still in a bad spot.
Indeed, and even the Screamtail's not that good an option because it needs damage on to really.
You got Slap. You got Slap on a Badoo.
I mean, okay, fine, Slap on a Badoo. I will give you Slap on a Badoo, Joe.
These are the lines you have to take at this stage.
I think maybe go Lily's Clefairy.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself a nice, efficient attacker. But it's always really awkward when you're sitting on stage when there's that much commotion from the crowd. You notice, but you don't know whose prizes they're reacting to.
Yeah. And there's no worse feeling thinking, it's me. It's me. I'm the fool here. Lily's Clefairy EX comes out. We have to see Rune start to attach to this Pokemon as quickly as possible. There's no 2 ways about it.
And you still need to set up your Curlier. Your goal here is really get Curlier down and start taking early prizes. Now, we know there is a Gardevoir at the bottom of the prizes, which really helps. But every prize, well, the first one gives you like a 1 in 3 chance of hitting one and blah, blah, blah from there on. But the point is, you've got to set up so that when you hit that Gardevoir, you can start your game plan rolling and just hope you hit it off the prizes. Not ideal, but it's the best you can do.
Tord will sneakily use his opponent's Artisan here. It's a pretty handy stadium that can grant both players access to a basic Pokemon that do not have a rule box. Tord also holding on to some rare candy, some research, but also a Brock Scouting, a supporter that could allow him to get additional basic Pokemon into play here. Again, it's one of those things, it's a call your bluff situation of thinking, well, my prizes aren't bad. My opponent's kind of must be based on the reaction that I've just seen out in the crowd in this final match. Do I go the traditional Badoo route? It opens up Slap, and genuinely, you have to respect it, I think.
You have to respect the Slap, Joe. We've got single energy 30. If you put it active, then Rune can just go energy, Slap. There's my first prize. And oh, and if you bench another Badoo, I'm just going to do it again. So
it is going to be the Brock Scouting. Will Tord go for Budgie here, or will he think better of it? You can see him debating, well, there's Latias plus Budu, but instead you can gain that free information from the crowd and go for a Dreepy plus Duskull here. That's just one of the things of being in a final and having this cataclysmic couple of prizes. That information's been gifted to you for free.
And that's the thing, right? Tor doesn't know whose prizes it is until he searches his own. When he has a look and he's like, one Drakloak, one Dragapult, one Dusclops, there's nothing that bad in my prizes, but the crowd's reaction was huge. Rune is missing something really important. So, you know, it could have been Lily's Clefairy, but that's hit the board. So then you start thinking, what is it? And honestly, double Gardevoir prize is probably your next guess. First guess is Lily's Clefairy, that's already hit the board.
I'm thinking back to that 20 or so win rate that Dragapult Duskull had into Gardevoir that we showed before the match. That's all part of it.
Yeah, in day 2, which would now phase 2, because we do start it on day 1, we see that actually the win rate is over 70% for Gardevoir. This is maybe one of the exceptions. It only gives a real opening to Tord here. And of course, with the extra time limit in the final, we are not worried about the clock. We're in game 2. There's 55 minutes. We've got plenty of time. Here's an energy onto that Lily's Clefairy. We see a Professor's Research. And with no Budu in the active, there's no point slapping with Screamtail. What we really want to do is get this out the active and then start attacking. What are we doing, Joe?
Nice pickup as well. The Bravery Charm might protect this Lily's Clefairy that little bit more as well, buffing it up from 190 hit points with an additional 50 now. Also obvious that Rune didn't prioritize going for an early TM evolution that you typically look towards, because we can only get into Curlier. That's far less exciting.
Yeah, you got time to do that later. You can evolve up naturally. Of course, without Gardevoir, you're also losing your natural pivot in the deck. You don't need to play a bunch of, air balloon and switching cards and all of that, because Gardevoir can accelerate energy that you can use for retreating. But unfortunately, that's not on the board right now, so it might even be next turn that Lily's Clefairy is actually starting to attack here.
I think Rune went for a secret box, then immediately used the Ultra Ball to discard his other TM Evolution and the Artisan, basically just doing a ton of deck thinning, evolving up to a Curlier naturally, setting up that Lily's Clefairy as well. And the action goes back over to Tord, who's holding onto a Hilda as one of his supporters. Once again, will take advantage of his opponent's Artisan.
Yeah, it's always annoying when you play a stadium and your opponent gets multiple uses of it. There's actually really big uses. I was saying about Spikemouth yesterday. It's really fun when your opponent can't search out Amani's Pokemon because they aren't playing it. Artisan, yeah, everyone's playing Pokemon. I think you'll be good. Most players are going to be able to get something. We get a third Dreepy here from Tord. One bench space remaining to use as he likes. Do we have... Is that a candy? He's got Dragapult in hand.
It is Rare Candy Dragapult. There's also the Hilda,
which will get the Neo Upper.
Get Neo Upper energy, but I don't think we have access to a means of moving this Pheasantipity EX. That's the last piece missing from Tord getting aggressive with the Dragapult, but you have to think, you've got to respect the one threat on the board right now, which is the Lily's Clefairy EX. That could be the one thing causing Tord pause.
And that's a big issue here, is the fact that if you want to go aggro with your Dragapult, well, you've already filled up your bench, which is, well, almost filled up your bench, which is the one thing Lily's Clefairy wants to do. You know what else you could do here, though? You can Dragapult onto Lily's Clefairy. Now, the maths here might need a little bit of explanation. Lily's Clefairy's got 160 HP. 190, sorry. So if you do 130 with a Dusknoir Curse Blast, and then you can Dragapult to drop 6 damage counters on the bench, that is 190. But the Bravery Charm might be throwing a spanner in the works.
Yeah, it would force a Jamming Tower from Tord as well. But he's actually not playing Jamming Tower in his list.
He's not.
Not one of the sacrifices of playing 4 Rare Candy. But we have double Rare Candy here, Ross.
We've got everything we need here, but we have no pivot, unfortunately, which is quite upsetting. That would have been so good, though. Free prize turn, including taking out the Lily's Clefairy. Now we can get the retreat from Rune here. And that would be able to get something active. Do we have Gusting? Because ideally here, what you really want to do is gust up the Dragapult and then start going for a KO on that with the Lily's Clefairy, which is already rolling.
Yeah, no copies of Boss's Orders within the list. And obviously, they are level on prize cards right now. So Clefairy would have to punch into this Pheasantipity EX if it wants to come into the active. But it's still maybe safer on the bench. You'd force counter-catcher plays. But it's going to be a Professor's Research here from Rune. There's always the option of the slap 30.
There is always
respect
the
it.
option.
I'm just saying, you just got to respect it.
You got to respect the slap. Now, yeah, I agree. What you don't want to do is go and do some damage. There we go. Slap for 30. You called it, Joe. What you don't want to do is leave that Lili's Clefairy in the active to potentially just be KO'd super easy. It's one of the most important Pokemon in your deck in this matchup. Do not give it away for free, especially with your Gardevoir prize. So, the annoying thing here, it is that bravery charm. That is the one thing stopping Tord KOing it on the bench while also getting a KO on an active Pokemon.
Tord's been pretty good at making the read so far of what is prized and what isn't. So typically when you're looking at this board, you'd think, I've got to start taking out some Curlier, taking out some Rolts.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's going to be in a lot of trouble. But I think it's all about trying to deal with this Lili's Clefairy right now. The only other thing we have to bear in mind is that by Tord using Curse Blast, feeds prizes to Rune. There's every which way that if there are two Gardevoir EX, you give them a 33% chance of hitting one of them from the 6, because there's 2 in there.
Yep.
And then suddenly, the fact that you've dodged or like tried to ignore the evolution pieces, suddenly it hits the board, Night Stretcher, Clefairy's back, knockouts, oh, I've lost my entire board.
Yeah, it's an awkward situation. Like, Tord is in a very rough matchup here. But we do see the energy on the Pheasant Dipty. We see a Professor's Research coming down, going to draw him another 7 cards. He's already got his attacker set up and ready to go if that's what he's going for. He's not going to be using a Boss's Orders here. Can't use Counter Catcher until and unless he uses Dusknoir. But I don't think he drew one there, so it's irrelevant any road.
There is at least one Dracloak.
There is.
And begin to use Recon Directive. I think Tord has to take the patient approach here. Possibly using multiple Curse Blasts all in one turn will be his avenue.
Yeah.
There's a world where he finds another rare candy and maybe a Night Stretcher. You can double Curse Blast down the Clefairy.
Yes, you can. And does take a Counter Catcher off of the Recon Directive there. So it will take a Dusclops next turn, but that would enable him to go after the Clefairy with Curse Blast and then get another KO in addition to the Lili's Clefairy.
One more Ultra Ball in the hand could be for a Dracloak, but no. Looks like we are going to have the retreat into Dreepy, so that we're not giving up the Pheasant Dipty EX so easily for a Full Moon Rondo to take the knockout. Instead, Tord's going to offer up this single prize Pokemon instead.
Don't mind this at all, just passing over to Rune. Neither player actually taken any prizes yet, and they're both pretty much set up. So now, well, I mean, as much as Rune can be, we know Gardevoir in the deck. So we're now into this kind of almost like a little game of chicken as to who's going to blink first, who is going to put their Pokemon in harm's way. But next turn, with the Dusclops as well as the Dusknoir, Tord could start forcing the issue, and that might be what he's looking to go and do when we get into that next turn. For now, Rune's got the Lili's Clefairy. He's got a full bench. The only extra evolution he can do is into Curlier. If not now, then when?
It's a great question, but I still don't love the... I don't like bringing Clefairy into the mix, honestly. Like, sure, taking the one prize gives you access to Gardevoir. Maybe that makes it worthwhile on its own. Maybe just saying that one doesn't help me typically in this prize map. But, of course, Tord is just going to wait. Tord's been patient. He's candied into a Dusknoir and not popped it, meaning that he is just going to wait until he can have the opportune turn. So rather than you doing a 60 damage slap, it might have to be a Lili's Clefairy attack here and just try and punt for Gardevoir EX. Here we go. I think the retreat might just be worthwhile to try and hunt for this stage 2.
And here we go with the Lili's Clefairy coming into the active, attacks into the Dreepy. Rune starts a prize race in this game 2 of our regional finals.
Gardevoir was picked up, so Tord really has a turn ahead of him now. He has access to all sorts here. He has to deal with Lili's Clefairy. It's in the active now, so we don't need Counter Catcher shenanigans.
Nope.
It's about now Curse Blasting through the active, in addition to your Phantom Dive, and also trying to pick apart a Curlier, and now also a Bravery Charmed Rolts, which has even more hit points to get through.
That is going to be incredibly awkward. I mean, you only need a Dusclops onto the active Lili's Clefairy. That would then get a KO with Phantom Dive. You could even potentially there just use your Dusknoir to take out the Curlier on the bench. That would be an option. Try and make sure a Gardevoir doesn't come down next turn. The question is, how much do you think a Gardevoir was taken off the prizes? That's the real question here. If you're pretty sure it wasn't, you're fine. But if you're preparing for it, that's where things get awkward. I think the Curlier is obviously the priority, and then hope your opponent doesn't have rare candy.
Especially because you can use an Ino here as well, right? We can Curse Blast a couple of times, once into the active with a Klops to put the Lily's Clefairy EX in range of a Phantom Dive. Then with a Dust Noir, we can set another Pokemon up for a KO. And then suddenly do we have access to Ino here? Is it just Flip the Script and Recon Directive that has to get there? Didn't quite see it in the hand, but we do still have a number of draws to get there. And if you're taking out that stage 1, like you said, Ross, you're then forcing a rare candy combination from a low hand size.
I honestly, I like that. And if you don't hit it, well, now your easy attacker for 2 energy, that's gone. And with no Gardevoir and no easy attacker, that should give you a bit more time to get a little bit ahead in this game. Flip the script for free cards. Are we going to get it? Badoo, Ultra Ball, Ino!
It's a huge pickup here for Tord, keeping him right in this game. He still has to think about a lot here, though. It's about how all in he wants to go. The outcome of this game is right in the balance. He's a game down, let's not forget. So in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if this doesn't go my way, I could be walking home with a 2nd place and not the trophy.
He is, but this really does seem to be the best option here. Give Rune another 2 prizes, but actually even them up by taking out the Clefairy and the Curlier at the same time. And then you Ino Rune down to free cards in hand, forcing a Candy Gardevoir. Bearing in mind, if he did pick Gardevoir off the prize, it's now on the bottom of the deck. So you're not drawing it. You would have to get a Ball Search card to go and get it instead. So just making things as awkward as absolutely possible. Is he looking for Ball Search cards in there?
Yeah, he's counting those Ultra Ball. He's counting if there were any rare candy in there, which there currently are not, although one of them is in the prize cards.
It is. So and there's only 2 in the deck. There's only 1 available.
Yeah, so Tord has relatively good odds of dodging a rare candy Gardevoir if he does initiate Project Curse Blast, where he blows up both of his ghost types on the bench. Here we go. We're going to see action now from Tord. Ultra Ball coming down. Going to be sacrificing a Duskull. Was it a Badoo as well, just out of the hand here, before having a look at his own deck. Because, of course, he still has a Recon Directive on his side of things.
He does. I do think this is probably the best chance he's got right now. Now, we all know Tord sees stuff the rest of us don't. So maybe Tord has seen something I haven't. But I think taking the free prizes while putting your opponent down to a free card hand, forcing a Candy Gardevoir, and kind of knowing that if they've got a Gardevoir, it's got to be on the bottom of their deck. That is what we're talking about here. It's not a guaranteed play by any stretch. However, it does seem like it's a decent shout.
One final Recon Directive before we use an Ino here. You have to feel like the spark's going to be flying after this decision. The Blood Moon Ursaluna is taken to the hand. That could be a good Pokemon to put into play, actually, after you use some of these Curse Blast.
Absolutely, it could. Make sure you've got an option for attacking later in the game, taking out some of those Pokemon, basically anything other than Gardevoir EX itself. Here we do see the Dusclops going on to the Curlier. Now we see the Counter Catcher onto the route, so we're going a different route here, basically saying, I don't think you have Gardevoir. I'm going to make sure you have got no options. This isn't going to work, though, because of the Bravery Charm is blocking it. The 130 from Dust Noir combined with a 6 from Dragapult does put 190 onto Clefairy, but the Bravery Charm will save it for the time being.
Well, essentially, Tord's just not going all in with this route. He's saying that, sure, I'm taking out the Gardevoir. Clefairy can come back and take a big knockout. The Ino, incidentally, does hit an attachment, which was huge for Tord, saying that if I set up this Clefairy now with enough damage, possibly I can deal with this Pokemon later. We're going to put all 6 onto the Curlier. That means we're giving no Monkey Dory math for Rune whatsoever.
Love it.
Tord is going to take a 2-prize knockout. Crucially, it's the Curlier and Ralts here. Rune has an easy attack with Full Moon Rondo, but what else can he piece together?
Well, there's something else going on here, and that is that, you know, Clefairy KO's Dragapult. I think we can all agree that's happening. But Tord's got Dust Noir ready, which actually puts him on perfect math to do an INO to 1.
Yeah. And
just go, you know what? I'm going to INO you to 1. Hopefully at that point, I'm going to be able to get, my Dreepy into a Dragapult, giving you no super easy KOs. And then hopefully, if you still don't have a Gardevoir, I put you down to 1 card in hand, and then I can start winning the game from there.
Rune might actually have to play an Ino here instead of a research, because he did actually draw into his rare candy. And he's he did take the other one from prize cards, actually, from the Curse Blast. So as long as he paid attention to the prize he took from Curse Blast, he can launch a research here.
I think he's going to.
Yeah,
here we
see
go.
the fresh 7 cards here. The third Ralts is not actually in his deck. That's also in the prize cards, by the way. So there's no freebie of Artisan for a second Ralts here. We have to find another Night Stretcher. Otherwise, that Pokemon could once again be Curse Blasted down, or once again, Hawlucha could come down in addition to a Phantom Dive.
Absolutely could. Now we see the Artisan. That is being used here just to have a look, and there is a bench space, and you're right, Hawlucha. We could get a KO on the routes next turn. We could actually see the Lili's Clefairy and the routes going down. Tord going down to 1 prize remaining, putting Rune down to 1 prize, but getting the INO at the same time, and then really putting himself in a very strong position to win the following turn. It does look like we are just getting the KO. Rune goes down to 2 prizes remaining. So, I mean, Hawlucha, INO, let's do this.
Sounds pretty decent. You have to still Curse Blast through this Lili's Clefairy. You've given up so many prizes that either you attack with your Blood Moon Ursaluna, or you use Curse Blast here and put Rune down to just 1 card.
Well, double Buddy Buddy Poffin is going to let you look through the deck. I don't think you're really getting anything here. There is a Badoo, which I suppose you could get, but really...
That feels way too risky for me.
Oh, yes.
A slap again. We gotta... If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Respect the slap.
You do love respecting that slap, Joe. Right now, the question is, are we going to save that bench space for a Blood Moon Ursaluna? Are we going to potentially use a Hawlucha? Because Blood Moon would do enough damage to get rid of the Lili's Clefairy. And with not having the psychic weakness with a Night Stretcher, Lili's Clefairy arguably actually has more HP than the Dragapult.
It does. And there is still 1 Night Stretcher floating around in Rune's deck. Here comes Night Stretcher now for Tord. Going to find him a Psychic Energy, which means we're launching attacks with Phantom Dive this turn with it committed to the active. Although we still could attack with Blood Moon if we use our Curse Blast, putting Rune down to 1. So still a non-committed play. But now that we've put the damage onto the active, we know that it will be a Phantom Dive coming down here.
100%. And if we're going to be Phantom Diving, I really want a Hawlucha here. Because I want to be able to take out that routes on the bench, an INO to 1. It's an INO. Well, it is still an INO to 1. But the question is, can we see a way to get the Hawlucha? Because if you don't, then the route survives. And there is still, it's a low percentage play, but there is a chance of Rare Candy Gardevoir. Rune has used a lot of research this game, though.
He has. Tord has 4 cards here, also has Flip the Script available. No Ball Search yet for that flying entry. Can we see it now?
No.
Not yet, not even a means of finding a Dracloak either. And that means we get to float damage around with the Phantom Dive. We can't take anything off the board cleanly, which does give Rune a bit of play with Adrenabrain here. Does it get him in range of anything? Really depends on that 1-card hand. A supporter could springboard Rune into all sorts of options, but it's just 1 right now. Also, there's the likes of Flip the Script that will be open for Rune next turn as long as he can find a Ball Search card towards it. Mew EX can draw him some cards. There are still outs here. There's real jeopardy in this game too.
There's even a chance of double Adrenabrain plus a slap onto a Dreepy.
Now we're talking.
But, oh no, because it's not going to work because he only plays counter catch. He's got 1 prize remaining. Oh, that would have been a fun end to the game.
Ooh.
Never mind. And there's no way we're going to get a 3rd Monkey Dory. There won't be enough damage on the board.
There's always Mind Bend as well. So if all else fails, if we find a Psych Energy, we can Mind Bend in a panic situation.
Okay. That could work.
And Rune only has a board of single prize Pokemon right now. And he can Adrenabrain to heal off his Ralts. So it doesn't all have to come next turn.
No.
This is a tense moment in this game number 2 of our Masters Division final. Tord Reklev, the best player, the most accomplished player of all time, has to make a comeback.
And I love what he's doing here. This is what we often see in a situation like this. You spread the damage as far as you can because that means that the Monkey Dory is going to be less effective. There's no Adrenabrain for 3 damage. It's only ever going to be for 2 maximum.
Rune's flashed it for himself, but I didn't quite catch it.
That's a Monkey Dory and
Bravery Charm. You can Bravery Charm Ralts. Is there anything else we can do here?
Maybe
an Artisan to have a look. Of course, we can heal up our Ralts anyway with Adrenabrain.
Problem is, any
You'd still be losing to Hawlucha. You'd still be losing to... Well, Tord doesn't even play Monkey Dory in his new build of Dragapult.
No, you can't really bench your routes here. I think getting the Bravery Charm is fantastic because it means you can protect against a Hawlucha play. But then if you bench another route, then you run straight into a potential Hawlucha play. So don't think we can be doing that. We Bravery Charm the bench routes. Do we have a Psychic Energy to use Mind Bend? I don't think we do.
No, we probably just have to start throwing damage onto the Dreepy here. We can put 4 damage counters onto the Dreepy with double Adrenabrain.
You don't need to heal up the routes anymore with the Bravery Charm coming down.
And Rune knows that Tord doesn't have space for the Jamming Tower, otherwise that would be the safest line.
Absolutely. And to be fair, if there was Jamming Tower, we definitely would have seen it by now.
So 4 counters onto the Dreepy for Rune, and just a pass. Tord, can you sculpt away towards 2 prizes? Doesn't look obvious from here. Evolving up his Dreepy is important. There's Drakloak now. So the Dreepy is less in danger. That would have been Rune's final prize card required.
It means you can't really Phantom Dive here, though, because if you Phantom Dive, you give 6 damage for the Monkey Dory. I mean, I know one of them's going to get KO'd, but there's always a chance for Monkey Dory Darkness Energy, and then that's another out to victory next turn.
I think the best move is Blood Moon attack here.
I agree.
Because the Phantom Dive 6 damage counters actually is downside in this case. Ross, you've put it well.
He did go and get a Professor's Research off of
the Recon Directive.
Yeah, so he can see a lot more cards if he wants to, or he can INO to 1. Rune's got 1 card already, though. Is it really that much of an advantage?
Yeah, you're not scared of the 1 card in the hand, and you've seen the other Bravery Charms, so at this point you might have to grit your teeth. Go with Blood Moon, use the Research, give yourself odds of finding Latias EX for next turn. You could attach a 3rd energy to the active.
Boss onto the routes. I love this. This means a Gardevoir is not coming down. This is a great play from Tord, getting rid of that route. You still probably have to attack with a Blood Moon Ursaluna, but it does mean that you can... Yeah, here we go. But it does mean that you have an opportunity here to end the game next turn, and there's no Gardevoir coming down here.
Fire Energy on Dragapult EX would mean we're just looking for Latias EX next turn, and you're not giving Monkey Dory much to do here. There it is, the Blood Moon attack. Can attack for 3, thanks to the seasoned skill ability and Rune having taken 5 prize cards. Tord, now just 1 prize card away from leveling up the series.
Worth noting, Blood Moon Ursaluna cannot attack 2 turns in a row, so it will need to pivot out the active next turn. We can't get too excited until we see a pivot, but Tord is in a very good position. Now Rune goes for the routes because there really is no downside at this point. You know, if Tord can take a prize, if Tord can attack, Tord's going to win the game. So don't worry about the routes going down. We could potentially see a Psychic Energy Mind Bend and hope, or even just hope Tord doesn't have a pivot. It's not a great plan.
That's all we got. We haven't yet seen Rune's next card. Oh, it's an INO. Here we go. Tord going down to just 1 card. Rune getting 1 himself here. Now has much more likelihood of not losing the game next turn.
Oh, we don't see. And of course, drawing 1 card means an Ultra Ball will not be live because you don't have 2 cards to discard to search out.
Pass.
It's a Professor's Research and an Ultra Ball. You can't play the Ultra Ball, but you can research. We're looking for a Latias to retreat and send us to a game 3 here. We need Latias to get Blood Moon out of the active. There is an Ultra Ball in hand. That should be everything Tord needs here, surely.
Was the Latias perhaps discarded? Otherwise, he would Recon Directive first.
We haven't got it.
Surely the Latias EX was discarded if we are still looking here.
It must be in the discard.
Did we miss the Night Stretcher required to win?
We don't have a Night Stretcher right now. It's not in hand. We've got an INO, but that can't be...
You can always check with Artisan. Let's have a look. There's another Ultra Ball in the hand here.
But it's not in the deck.
No, the Latias EX must have been discarded during this game.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Otherwise, no doubt there would have been a Recon Directive for that 3rd card to activate Ultra Ball for the game.
Absolutely.
1 Night Stretcher used. I believe there's still 1 remaining in the deck. So this Blood Moon is currently stuck, and Tord just has to announce pass back here. Rune clinging on.
There's no way to retreat here. There's no air balloon to turn it into a reasonable retreat cost. Latias in the discard, unavailable right now. There's no switching cards. No, there's nothing. It's not coming out of the active at this point. Latias is what we need, but it had to be a Night Stretcher, it turns out, not a Pokemon Search. So it looks like we are passing back. Does Rune have a way to take a prize here?
Professor's Research, Ross.
Okay, that could do it.
Rare Candy Gardevoir. Where else can we get? Screamtail could win the game with a Rare Candy Gardevoir combo.
We got
Rare Candy.
There's the candy. There's the INO counter catcher. It's not there. There's no Gardevoir.
groans from the crowd as Rune got so close.
Because next turn, nothing is needed. Blood Moon can just attack next turn. Next turn, there's no issues. Blood Moon just goes, oh, cool, I can attack again. I win the game. So Rune needs to win this turn. There is absolutely no way.
If there's a Psych Energy, we can still Mind Bend.
We can. Ah, that's a good shout.
We can still Mind Bend here.
Okay. Okay,
it's not
I'm
over yet.
Fast. It's not
There's
over yet.
Confusion.
And there is Psychic Energy in hand. Oh, Confusion flip for game 2 of a regional championship, Joe.
These are the moments. Rune quite likely off that research to hit one of those final few Ultra Ball in the deck after finding the one copy of Rare Candy. That was the harder piece.
Absolutely, it was.
So we have to confuse this Blood Moon Ursaluna. Here we go. Psychic Energy, Mind Bend.
60 damage plus Confusion. The crowd are enjoying it. What does Tord get? It is, I didn't see it, to Professor's Research. You've got to, surely you've got to hit it off of Professor's Research this turn.
We can attach a Luminous Energy to the Blood Moon Ursaluna. Tord has a quick look at how many cards remain in the deck. If there's anything else he can thin here with Artisan or with Ultra Ball, he'll do that before seeing his 7. Is the Night Stretcher here?
Night Stretcher's not in deck.
Are we looking at another 50-50 Confusion flip?
I think we have to do the 50-50 Confusion flip. I'm not sure there's any other way to get him out the active.
Tord can also go Iono and slow attach to the Blood Moon. Here we go. We're going to at least throw Rune down to 1 card. That means Tord is pretty happy to flip the coin.
Yeah.
It means that even if he flips Tails, there's still not much chance that Rune can find the Rare Candy combo he requires. Here's the Recon Directive from Tord.
The boss and a Dragapult. I quite like the Dragapult just to protect your lowest HP Pokemon, but it's not really an issue at this point.
Here comes the shrug.
Here comes
Let's
the
roll
shrug.
a dice.
Heads, and Tord gets the game. It is a Tails! Blood Moon Ursaluna takes 30 damage. The attack fails. We are back over to Rune. This game is really keeping us on our toes. Here comes a Nest Ball here.
That's draw power. That's Mew EX. Rune is going to have more than just 1 card to play with. The hand right now is a Curlier. But you might just have to go for Broken Mew for 2 here first.
You might have to, because you don't want a Curlier and then go into the Rare Candy Gardevoir. You can always Curlier afterwards.
Yeah.
But if you Curlier and hit Rare Candy Gardevoir, you are not going to be in a good position at all. You've shuffled the deck. Yeah, you have to Mew first. Here we go. Well, show us what they are, Rune, would you? We need to see. This is quite important for us. If Rare Candy is there...
Is that Night Stretcher as well? There's no way that's the 2-card combination.
So the other Guardi's in the discard
Gardevoir's
anyway.
in the prize cards, yeah. So that's not the way to win the game. You have to evolve into Curlier here. You can launch another 60 with the Mind Bend.
I think it might have.
We're chipping through this Blood Moon Ursaluna, Ross.
I don't know what else we've got here. Boss's Orders would actually win the game on a Dracloak here.
There's no Boss's Orders.
I know, that's the problem. Would be great. We got Counter Catcher, Boss's Orders. We are seeing a Recon Directive from Tord. It's a Rare Candy and a Dusclops, neither of which are doing any good right now. Counter Catcher isn't live. Boss's Orders is. We're dragging something into the active.
We want to slow down the Mind Bend damage.
We really do. It is a Curlier. Again, if we
win on a 50-50 here.
We do. The attack never happened with Confusion, so the can't attack next turn is not in effect. So you are able to flip again. A heads will win toward this game. Keep it on the table. We don't know. Oh. Keep it on the table, Tord. It's a heads. Tord's win game 2, and we are off to a game 3 in the Frankfurt Regional Championships. Head flip on that Blood Moon Ursaluna, KOs the Curlier, and Tord has evened it up at 1 game apiece.
What a remarkable game.
People are enjoying this one in the crowd, Joe.
The Pokemon trading card game. There it is.
Oh, that was one of the weirdest, tensest games I think I might have ever commentated. Here comes a replay then, and we did see that damage coming down on the Curlier nice and early. We saw the Counter Catcher onto the routes, and Tord going very simply, I will take away the threat of Gardevoir. Both of them go down, and Tord is saying, if you hit Rare Candy Gardevoir, you still can't have it. We see more attacks from Dustoir, spreading damage around, because Gardevoir still is not hitting the field, even though one came out of the prizes. We saw Boss's Orders at the end there onto the routes, trying to get rid of that, taking away even more options. Blood Moon Ursaluna attacked, and it's quite simple. Get out of the active. You can't. Monkey Dory confuses it. It's quite simple. Flip aheads. You can't, at least first time round, so the game carries on. Rune, delighted there, but now we see a flip the second time round onto the Curlier. That one's a heads, and we're off to game 3.
Well, I can only expect that it's going to be another chaotic game 3 to decide our Masters Division final here in Frankfurt. A crazy game. Sometimes the Pokemon trading card game subverts all expectations, Ross. That was one of those games. It all started with some horrific prize cards for Rune, which finally opened the door for Tord, who didn't even have a good start, by the way. Had to slowly work his way into the game and found himself in this position where he couldn't shift his Blood Moon Ursaluna, had to flip some coins. And this is a game of skill, make no doubt about it, but every now and then it does come down to these fortuitous moments.
Unless, you know, flipping a coin, 50-50, he flipped 2, he got 1 heads. Job's a good one.
Getting into this game then, both players, well, it seems like Rune will have the choice to go second. You would imagine he would be taking that option.
Yep.
Looking to once again weave in his technical machine evolution, getting into these Pokemon before Tord can disrupt it and pick apart the board with these Curse Blasters. So vital. Tord has been patient in his play, acknowledged that there's no boss's orders within Rune's list, so he's going to only ever promote Pokemon that he wants to be knocked out every turn, so that he can be in control of the counter catcher, taking out crucial threats. That's how he was able to win that game number 2. That's how he's going to try and win this game number 3.
Absolutely. I quite like his opening hand. He's got a Dreepy to start. He does have a Buddy Buddy Poffin. He's got Candy Dragapult in his opening hand as well. I don't know if he's got any energy. We'll have to have a look about that. But no energy right now. But there is Boss, Candy, Dragapult. If he could somehow find that Neo upper energy, he could have an absolutely blinding start to this game 3. That's the only thing he's missing.
1 mulligan for Rune gives Tord an extra card as well, as a bit of a apology. Oh, wow, the secret box for Rune as well. That's a really good opening hand for both players here.
Okay, we like this. Good opening hand for both players. That means they're both going to be able to do something, show us how their decks work. That'll be fun. Now, let's see.
Hang on, we haven't seen the prize cards yet.
I was going to say, let's see what's prized. It's better.
Thank goodness.
I don't love the 2 Professors' research, given how much Rune was relying on them so far. But compared to 2 Gardevoir, I think we'll take it.
Yep, so a little bit awkward with the Hawlucha and Blood Moon Ursaluna. Like you said, Ross, a couple of those research can be problematic. It would hurt your outs as you go through the game, getting hit with those Iono disruption pieces. But I think both players are going to have a good fist of this game. They have a Buddy Buddy Poffin. Tord already has the Dreepy in the active, so can go about finding his early evolving Pokemon, working his way towards the Dragapult, working his way towards the Dusknoir as well. These all have to come together, really, in this archetype if it's going to really make an impact, a dent on a powerful Gardevoir board state.
Absolutely. The 1 Hawlucha being prized is someone I've got my eye on from Tord. That 10 damage can be absolutely crucial. So at the top of the prize, it's probably not coming out. But Blood Moon Ursaluna there in the middle being prized, not actually that bad. You ain't going to need it till the late game. By that point, you're probably going to have taken it out the prizes. So I'm all right with that one. It's a Hawlucha I'm watching for now. We get a Buddy Buddy Poffin from Tord. We get a Dreepy. We get a Duskull. And business as normal so far.
Also going to take a look through those prize cards. No gasps from the crowd this time. So I think both of them can breathe a sigh of relief in that regard. So we're just going to do his due diligence here and have a look through. Because as we know, whenever you're trying to map out how you ultimately win the game, you always have to think about what resources you do and don't have access to. There are sometimes situations where you can, especially with Curse Blast, try and punt for prizes just based on using your Curse Blast aggressively as well. So that's always something you have to keep in mind with the Dragapult archetype in particular.
No, absolutely. So we've had the Buddy Buddy Poffin. No energy attachment, could not find an energy. Passes over to Rune. That's what I'm watching for Tord right now. Is we're on energy watch. He's got everything else he needs. He's going to need some energy to get some attacks rolling. Was he a nest ball from Rune? This is going to be the first opportunity to look
Gardevoir
through the deck. Finds both those Gardevoir. Much happier than last game. Sees the Pheasant Dip Tea. What we're doing here is checking the important cards are not stuck in the prizes. There's nothing too horrendous here. And then you can go about using Secret Box and getting everything you like.
Yeah, I believe there are no Curlier in the hand either, so it can be a very solid TM evolution. It does leave your Clefairy EX in the active position, action, but also just getting a turn attachment onto this Pokemon is also really good to allow you to put on some pressure. So it can be an awkward Pokemon to lead out with because it's a vulnerable 2-prize Pokemon, and if Tord has that great rare candy combination, it could be punished. But if that's not the case, you can start trying to churn through prize cards with this Pokemon without even finding a Gardevoir.
And that could be an absolutely big advantage here. Basically, Tor's looking for Neo Upper Energy or one of his 2 copies of Hilda. They are his outs next turn to get this Dragapult attacking immediately. Over to Rune then. What have we got? Well,
starting our secret box here. Gonna get rid of the Iono, knowing that you can get a different supporter anyway.
Yep.
As a little bit of a refund with the secret box. Also tossing away an early Psychic Energy, always a great thing.
Yep.
And it looks like Rune will be looking for a Earthen Vessel because we have a second Ralts already in the hand, I believe, and the Artisan. So we can continue to filter out these Psychic Energy, always a mission of any Gardevoir player. The secret box has really unlocked the Gardevoir archetype. It's why we've seen it been built in this way with a couple Arven, the secret box to cherry pick these TM Evolution. This really was a new development that we saw throughout a large portion of last season, and ever since we've had the secret box included, basically no Gardevoir player has looked back.
No, and you know, that we had, years gone past, we had refinement on Curlier, which could draw cards while discarding that Psychic Energy, which really meant you didn't need something like a secret box. Well, we lost that. Now you absolutely do. But here in this, we're going to be able to use that Earthen Vessel to grab a couple of Psychic Energy, immediately bin them using that Professor's Research, get them in the discard pile nice and quickly. TM Evolution onto the Lily's Clefairy, plus an energy attachment means you can start evolving. You said there's another Routes in hand, so you bench that. You get 2 Curlier immediately, and you're rolling. The only thing we're really looking for is don't draw Curlier off Professor's Research.
Yeah, that would ruin your TM Evolution. There are 2 copies of the Curlier in the deck, so if you draw into any of those from the Research, it means you're slowly evolving them, which would be a little bit more awkward.
Yeah, we don't want that.
We'd much rather get them immediately, so that we are set up for a Gardevoir on the following turn. Here comes the TM Evolution. Second Ralts comes down, Darkness Energy attached, researching away the 2 Psychic that we plucked out with the Earthen Vessel. So right, we know that Evolution's already ready.
He's hit a Curlier. Not ideal there, so we're only going to be able to TM Evolution 1 Curlier here. Not the end of the world. It still gives you an easy Gardevoir next turn, but it doesn't give you that double Gardevoir you're really looking for.
Ultimately, you take this. As long as you get that TM Evolution for 1 Curlier, I always feel like that's a pretty good position.
Oh, yeah.
As the Gardevoir player. It means that you don't have to get fortunate to get the combination of Ultra Ball or Gardevoir plus the rare candy, or get fortunate to use an Arven, weave that in, and find the piece that you're missing. It means that we can continue to churn through with Ionos and Research instead. No,
absolutely. It is certainly better than the alternative. You got 1, that's good. Drawing both would have been absolutely devastating. You didn't. So we get the single evolution. We pass over to Tord. And this could be absolutely crucial. We see Professor's Research as an aggressive supporter option, but how many rare candy are in hand right now?
It's like a few.
I think there might be 3 rare candy in hand.
Yeah, Tord does play with some EX-era older rare candy artwork.
I believe there's 3.
Yeah, there's
here's a Dusclops.
At least 2.
The problem is, if you get the attack off this turn, then you can get, using the Dusclops, you can KO the Curlier on the bench and the active Lily's Clefairy, 3 prize turn. And you've got to bear in mind, there are 2 more in hand. You've got to Iono here. The thing is, you are on the back foot in this matchup. You are unfavored in this matchup. And if you hit, or literally all you need is Neo Upper. If you hit that right now, it is just devastating to Rune's setup. Absolutely devastating. You're getting 1 fewer card, but you're protecting 2 rare candy. Do we see it? No, 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 no.
No energy whatsoever.
No, still no energy.
Can't even retreat this Dragapult EX now. It's right in range of a Lily's Clefairy.
That is a problem.
There's one more Recon Directive that could help us get there.
I think we have to Recon Directive and hope Neo Upper would. I cannot overstate. Neo Upper Energy might well be the card that gives Tord this regional championship victory. If he can hit it, is it there? No, it's a Luminous Energy. That's not enough. I mean, you take it and put it on the bench to a cloak, but it's still not enough.
Well, do you retreat your active Pokemon?
Oh, that might be
vulnerable Pokemon at this stage with the Fairy Zone.
Problem is, if you use it to retreat, then you still need a Neo Upper next turn as well. I don't like being forced into that situation. It's such an awkward place to be.
Here comes the Ultra Ball then. Tord can at least get a couple, well, 1 more Pokemon into the mix. He's looking at sacrificing the Night Stretcher over the Duskull. Interesting call, when typically you can always Night Stretcher back the Pokemon you'd like, but this gives you less flexibility.
Absolutely, it does. A Badoo comes down.
The next card.
Oh, that's really annoying. Yeah, shockingly enough, Tord was seeing what we were seeing. Neo Upper would have been absolutely brutal for Rune. So I think we are going to see the retreat here, Joe. You Luminous Energy onto the Dragapult, retreat into the Badoo, you Itchy Pollen to turn off item cards. It is not the turn you wanted, but you're at least protecting your main attackers here. And I don't know, maybe you can still do it next turn. Maybe Rune doesn't hit a Gardevoir.
We're going to see the extra Duskull put into play from Tord. That's why we dispatched the Night Stretcher, and 10 brave bits of damage from this Badoo coming on into the active Lily's Clefairy EX. We have the early Artisan from Rune. Do we have a means? Oh, the Bravery Charm's already looking like a dangerous card here.
So again, everything just got more awkward there, because now the Bravery Charm means you don't get a nice easy KO with Phantom Dive, and we've learned at this point Tord does not have a way around the Bravery Charm.
The Psychic Energy attachment would be tempting, but with Artisan already found, you could use Iono, try and find a Darkness Energy, then if you do find a Gardevoir, you could Monkey Dory through the Badoo in the active. So at this moment, Rune is saying that my turn's probably good enough if I just guarantee the attack with Lily's Clefairy here, but there was a world where Rune really went for the more aggressive line, trying to find a Darkness Energy from the next 6 cards from this Iono, but would also have to combine it with a Gardevoir EX.
Which is far from guaranteed. Take the guaranteed KO. Of course, you had a decent chance of hitting Psychic Energy from the Iono as well, although, as it turns out, doesn't look like there's any energy at all there.
Right. So the safe play pays off in this instance.
We do, however, get the rare... There's an Ultra Ball there which can get you towards that Gardevoir EX.
Yep. We have to make that play, try and protect these vulnerable evolving Pokemon. We know that Dragapult is so strong at targeting down these evolving basics and stage 1s. So the Ultra Ball not playable with Itchy Pollen.
Oh, of course.
So that's actually not available at all.
No, Itchy Pollen turned it off. Okay. I'm feeling a bit better about this now, Joe.
Well, it means Tord can target down multiple basics next turn and the Curlier. But Clefairy's still a threat, but you're right, Ross. This Badoo's done it.
I kind of love the idea of just going after the routes and Curlier and just kind of ignoring Clefairy, going, you know what, Clefairy, you do your thing, I'll get to you later. You go do what you want to do, we'll play with you later. I want to take out the routes and Curlier.
Especially because in using your Curse Blast, you then reduce your bench size significantly, whilst reducing your opponent's bench size significantly. So even with Fairy Zone, there's no guarantee that a Full Moon Rondo can knock out an opposing Dragapult. So I think ignoring the Clefairy could well be a great strategy for Tord in this final game.
I mean, you have to KO through the Badoo. You have to take the prize when it's on offer there, but that does not feel good if you are Rune. It's not going to be an option, so looks like... I mean, that was Badoo. It's such a tiny little Pokemon. 0 energy, you're always giving up a prize using it. And how many times have we seen it come in absolutely clutch this weekend, winning players' games they would otherwise be losing. So now Dragapult comes back to the active.
Tord confidently promotes the Dragapult EX. Has a good amount of draw available to him. Has Ultra Ball for Flip the Script. Has already one Dracloak in play. And that Professor's Research. Or potentially, you could use that Flip the Script early, try and find the Hilda for the guaranteed search for your Neo Upper Energy. You can either see a huge chunk of cards, or look to find that supporter first, ahead of your Professor's Research.
They're both decent options. Certainly Hilda would be amazing. You want that Neo Upper Energy as fast as you possibly can. You did not get an attachment last turn. Well, not one that stuck. You got one to retreat into the Badoo, but you really need to get that attachment here. My only real issue with going after the routes and Curlier is if you attach Neo Upper and then get KO'd, you are in a very bad position in terms of you don't have any way of getting enough energy to do your best attack the following turn. And Jet Headbutt ain't going to do it. Are we maybe adding up for a third Curse Blast here?
Coming into play, yes. Also have the Ultra Ball here. You can still use one Dusclops and open up the space for Pheasantipity, let's not forget.
Can indeed. There's no bench space right now, but you can certainly get some. I do like this, because I think the one thing you have to do here is Dusknoir onto the... Well, either you go after the Lily's Clefairy, but that can be done with a Dusclops.
Yeah.
Or you go after the Curlier, and I really like the idea of just essentially swapping your Dusknoir for your opponent's Curlier, because they want the Curlier a lot more than you want the Dusknoir.
Take that trade every day of the week. Curse Blast into a big research then by the looks of things, Ross. Rare candy into the Dust Noir. Wow.
Oh, I love this.
This is getting really dangerous now. Research for 7 cards. Can we find that Neo Upper Energy? This is a huge 7 cards. This could be determining the winner of the Frankfurt Regional Championships.
Do we have Recon Directive still?
We still have the Recon Directive.
Okay.
We could still flip the script.
It's not there. It's a Luminous Energy. We still got Flip the Script, potentially. We still got Recon Directive. Do we have a way to get Pheasantipity right now?
It would only be from the Recon Directive.
That's
so
what
now
I'm
we have to
thinking.
find an Ultra Ball, or we have to find the physical Pheasantipity or the physical copy of Neo Upper Energy.
This is not going exactly how we wanted it. Tord is giving himself, as always, the best possible chance, but he's not drawing the cards he needs.
Ultra Ball.
Yeah, Ultra Ball will do.
That gives us flip the script.
I mean, it's not there, but it's getting a lot closer. Now, you do need to free up a bench space in order to play the Pheasantipity, but you can do that with a Dust Noir or the Dust Glops. So that was going to get you a little bit closer.
We're going to have to throw away some excess supporters. Not what we were looking for from our professor's research whatsoever. But now it's just a 3-card dig for a 1-of in your deck. The odds are looking less and less likely for Tord.
It keeps getting worse and worse as time goes by. Hilda no longer an option because you've had to play that professor's research. So now you're using Pheasantipity, you're flipping the script, you're drawing 3 cards. You couldn't get an energy attachment on turn 1. You couldn't get it last turn because you had to KO, you had to retreat into the Badoo. You've not had an attachment stick yet. You need this Neo Upper Energy. And there is a world in which we can actually KO all 3 of these Pokemon. You know, the Routes, the Curlier, and the Lily's Clefairy, and put yourself in a great position. But we are going to need a little bit of help.
Brock scouting the prize taken from Tord from that Curse Blast. Here's the flip the script then. 3 cards from Pheasantipity EX. Will it be the Neo Upper Energy?
We need to see it. It's not.
No.
It's a Dusk Glops, which was potentially part of the plan here. Because 1 onto the Routes, 1 onto the Lily's Clefairy, so then you get the double KO. But you need the energy to do the attack to get the double KO.
I don't think we even have a counter catcher. We could have tried to counter catch.
Oh, and it is
Comes
just
the other Rolts down. Night Stretching back for another 70 damage.
I don't actually mind this. Because like part of the plan was maybe just take out all the Gardevoir pieces.
Well, now we could jet headbutt the Lily's Clefairy, trying to put it in range of a Phantom Dive next turn.
And then Iono to 1 and Phantom Dive and leave your opponent with absolutely nothing.
So we were spouting all about finding the Neo Upper, but just taking out both the Rolts and Curlier, all via Dusk Noir, still opens up the line here. And the 70 damage is a really relevant poke.
Absolutely is. To be fair, with the Neo Upper, you could have done that and KO'd the Clefairy. So still really wanted the Neo Upper. But it was not to be, unfortunately. But again, Tord is doing what he always does. He's giving himself the best possible chance to stay in this game. And now, I mean, Rune really needs to start getting some routes down and hoping that we can get Gardevoir in a turn or 2.
And this Ultra Ball cannot search for a Rolts either, because one of Rune's final 3 prize cards is the 3rd copy of Rolts. So Rune now has to dig once again towards those Night Stretcher and towards that Super Rod.
No draw on the board right now. Pheasantipity has not been searched out with the Ultra Ball. There was a
Might be in the hand. I think there's already Mew EX. There might already be the Pheasantipity in the hand as well.
Okay, that would give a bunch of draw then, which would be potentially nice. Actually, I think you're right. I think it is there in the hand.
I think we need to see an Ino from Rune's end as well, because, I mean, Tord might not be sat on that large of a hand size, but you're still concerned here. That might be why we're thinning the Curlier, perhaps. No, we're just going to take nothing from the deck here. You can see Rune deliberating over it. It will ultimately just be a shuffle from this Ultra Ball, discarding a Nest and Monkey Dory in the process.
Neither of which are going to be that useful at the moment. Not if you don't have the, you know, if you're not searching it for Ultra Ball, you ain't searching it with Nest Ball, so might as well get rid of them. We do see the Mew hit the bench. We do see the, Bravery Charm onto the Mew. I like that. Takes it out of range of a Phantom Dive 200. We then see the Pheasantipity. It's going to hit the ball. We know it's going to hit the ball. You need the cards.
Well, perhaps we were playing the Ultra Ball just to lower our hand size for restart as well. It might be very much the case where we use restart before the flip the script as well here.
Absolutely.
Professor's research, though. Just going to be a fresh 7 cards before any of these abilities are used.
Need some. Oh, we do see a Night Stretcher in hand. That's going to help. Bunch of energy, but there is 1 Night Stretcher to get a Routes back.
That's really important for Rune here, because we know that Gardevoir EX is integral if he wants to continue battling on in this game and having more than just this Lily's Clefairy. Yes, the knockout is looking really appealing. Yes, Rune would be going down to just one prize card remaining this turn, but he needs to have something for the following.
Yes. Because that Lily's Clefairy, I mean, look, if Lily's Clefairy stays there, you've won the game. Congratulations, you're the regional champion. If a Lily's Clefairy does get taken down, you need some kind of plan for next turn, and that starts with the route. Wow. So we see another Bravery Charm. That's absolutely huge, because it takes away the Hawlucha KO play. So now we see them using Restart for one card. It is
decent.
Super.
You can now Super Rod a second Ralts and Artisan for it.
Yep.
That would make you a little bit safer from Curse Blast.
But it does
Phantom Dive.
But it opens up the Phantom Dive Hawlucha play to KO on the bench.
It does. I mean, we have Caster Vision in that the Hawlucha's in the prize cards, as is the Blood Moon Ursaluna as well. So Tord next turn has to attack with a Dragapult with a Neo Upper. So there's a lot that we can see that Rune has to still play around.
It's weird. Generally speaking, the players have a lot more information than we do. They can look at their discard, they've played their deck more, etc., etc. But the one thing we know that they don't is we got access to their prizes at all times. Seriously, we've got a little telly here. See the prizes all game. It's lovely, wonderful. Shout out to the awesome crew backstage making our lives easy. That's the one thing we have that the players don't have right now.
The Artisan will grab that second Ralts. Rune trying to give himself the best chance of grabbing a Gardevoir EX. That certainly is the easiest way for him to close the game next turn.
Absolutely.
As long as you can get Rare Candy, Gardevoir EX, you open up so many energy attachments. There will be the quick Adrenabrain from this Monkey Dory.
I just want to point out, Rune hasn't had a Gardevoir since game one.
No.
Since the conclusion of game one, which is what, 40, 45 minutes ago, maybe more, Rune hasn't had a Gardevoir since game one finished. And there aren't even any prizes this game. It just has not happened. We see the KO with Lily's Clefairy onto Dragapult. This is it for Tord. We do see, now he's Ultra Balling, including getting rid of a Hilda. Having said that, I think you probably need to INO here, so maybe Hilda isn't a good job anyway. There's a Dracloak. It's going to open up another Recon Directive. You have Flip the Script. You have double Recon Directive, because you're obviously going to use one before you evolve. You do have your INO ready. You need to hit your Neo Upper Energy. It's really important.
I'm glad you stressed it so much with your voice there, so everyone at home could know it's really important.
It's really important, Joe. Like, I know I say this every turn, but it kind of gets a bit more important with every turn that goes by. And honestly, if he doesn't get it this turn, there's a very good chance Rune... Well, if he doesn't get it this turn, Rune's going to win the game. Yeah. Simple as that.
Fortunately, Tord does have the Dusk Clops in hand as well, so the 3 damage that was thrown over to the Dusk Skull isn't quite as threatening. Tord will be having to announce Phantom Dive. We're just going to make sure the shuffle was fine from both players here. Certainly a tense moment in this Masters Division final. Also, look at the clock ticking down as well. 3 minutes 32. I could sit here for another 2 hours, honestly, to watch these two players.
Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it, honestly. I'm cool with this. I mean, they're not going to let us. It's going to end in 3 minutes, but, you know, I'm pretty
shaking
happy.
Their heads right now.
I think we're probably the happiest people to keep watching it. Other people here actually want to go home, Joe.
There has to be a winner here, and it's going to be apparent to us over the next turn or two. Toward having a final decision over this Recon Directive in the active position. One of those situations where he knows he's going to be using INO. So he's now at the stage of thinking, where do I want each individual card in terms of the positioning in the deck? We're going to evolve up into the Dusk Clops, evolve up into the active position. Here is the INO. No other actions in this hand. So let's give Tord 4 cards, Rune just the 1. Again, have to find that Neo Upper Energy, but we have not just the 4 cards for Tord. There's also Flip the Script open and Recon Directive. At this point, he does have great odds to find it.
Yeah, he really is odds on to get it at this point.
Not yet.
After everything that's happened, doesn't have it yet. There's no, well, there is a little bit more thinning if there's any basics. Now we flip the script, we draw 3 cards. We can see the next 2 from Recon Directive. At some point, we've got to hit it, but it's not going to be now. Recon Directive, final 2 cards. You need to hit Neo Upper, or this is probably going to be it. Ooh. Doesn't hit it from there. And if he's not going to be able to get a Phantom Dive this turn, it does not look like he's going to be able to stop Rune from just announcing an attack and winning on the following turn, with Lily's Clefairy winning without a Gardevoir in play. You can Jet Headbutt, but Jet Headbutt is not going to get a KO.
You have to counter catch up. the Fezandipity EX.
And just hope.
That's the only Pokemon you can't Psychic Embrace to retreat, being a Dark type, not a Psychic type. You can't even announce the Jet Headbutt, I don't think, because Monkey Dory damage would eventually deal with you.
Indeed,
so just the pass.
So here we go. Do we have a way to retreat? We do, and that means that Rune Heiremans is going to defeat Tord Reklev 2-1 and become your Frankfurt regional champion, the first person in Europe to get a direct invite to the World Championships by winning a regional this season. Aged up recently into Masters and showing still one of the best players around in this older age division.
Huge congratulations to Rune there. Wow, that was a sweat. You think you hear Gardevoir versus Dragapult Dusknoir, you think it's going to be a done deal. It was anything but that.